Friday night, Saturday morning edition of Sticks and Skins. It's Lauren Foster, the doctor, Big Dr. D, ready to talk the NFL. The season started. The Chiefs are 0 and 1. All is right in the world.
I would figure kind of heading into the game we talked about like maybe hitting the over on the points, which is like 54 and a half. So I mean, definitely was not that. It was oftentimes like I don't know if it was a great defensive game as opposed to just like there's some ugly and plays, some questionable things, but you know, overall for AFC fans of other teams, that was a nice start to the year to see the Chiefs go down at home.
Yeah, and and we'll dive right into it, right? People will say, "Oh, well, had Kadarius Toney not gone and tipped that ball to Brian Branch, or had he not dropped this or that," and that's absolutely true, right? 7 points are a direct result of Tony having stones for hands.
Mm-hmm.
But what I care more about, because people drop balls and they only pay attention to it when it's Mahomes or somebody like that. Gabe Davis, Gabe,
Yeah.
I love you, but man, you got a lot of drops and bad offensive line play. So yeah, that's why to me I don't really care about that. I care more about that right tackle, and I don't know if the NFL has said anything about it, but to me that was so blatant. Like, listen, I'll just say this for Chris Collinsworth to even call it out, and I mean, everyone knows like he loves Patrick Mahomes, and so for him to
Yeah.
call it out, it was bad. It was very bad. So yeah, again, I don't know if the NFL has said anything yet, but um, to me, that's the bigger story of why did it only get called one time.
There was a lot of things that could have been called on James. Was like his alignment was off. Like they jokingly called him a slot receiver
Mm-hmm.
because it's not like he was every pass play he was getting out of his stance into his kicks like half second early,
Yeah.
and like that's a huge deal in the passing game. Like I think J.J. Watt commented on it during the game, saying like just like how much of an advantage what was happening. So he's starting back farther than he should be allowed to, and he's kick starting earlier than he's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big advantage for him. And like I texted during the like before like in the first quarter, like Mahomes was having to move around in the pocket a lot just because the offensive line wasn't doing that great.
Nope. No, and you're
And
go ahead.
so I mean that's to me like a storyline coming right out of that game is this something a trend that's going to happen or was it just kind of like first game stuff?
Yeah, I mean, God, I feel like it can't be a trend, right? Because those are both blatant rule violations,
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah, J.J. Watt, I mean, he's absolutely right. I mean, one, he would know way more than us, but two, yeah, it allows that tackle to get up, to get ready, and essentially see that defender coming to him, so he can play him easier. It allows him to go and keep that defender at arm's length. No, it's a huge advantage. And Aiden Hutchinson, he was only really effective once he went inside. Now,
Mm-hmm.
frankly, because he was the only player doing it, I don't know why they didn't flip sides and put Aiden Hutchinson over there on the left tackle. Um,
Yeah,
but no, I mean,
I don't think he's the best tackle either. Yeah, so
yeah.
they signed James from they got James from the Jaguars. I don't think he's that fantastic. And then Orlando Brown has been on three teams in 3 years.
Yeah, no,
So
it's
to me, that storyline is like, is this going to be like, is Mahomes going to have to do what Allen's done in the past and just like have to overcome pretty poor offensive line play?
but now with receivers dropping balls, I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
think this is what you get, right? It's just, you didn't pay
Ridley.
Hill, you know, and so when your best player, your second best player gets hurt, I mean, you know what? Chris Jones can say whatever he wants, and I think after this week, maybe Kansas City's like, you know what? Maybe we're not in a hurry to pay you. But if I'm
Mm-hmm.
Travis Kelce, I'm like, well, you know what? Maybe I need a few more dollars.
Yep.
because that offense looks abysmal without Kelsey. Yeah, they look terrible.
Yeah, they didn't go and really attack the wide receiver position at all.
No.
I think they're relying on, all right, I think it's like, all right, Sky Moore is going to take a step. They drafted Rice in the second round again, and they're counting on Mahomes to raise the level. But at some point, you need to have people that can just win against quality opponents.
Hmm.
And like Sky Moore, like he was like so invisible for most of the game. Tony was invisible for all the wrong reasons. Like, and then I mean, Kelsey's 34 years old, but you saw his value. There's nobody they feared on that offense.
Nope. And the only one, and both coaches did it right, where I felt like Pacho, or what the heck their running back's name is,
Mm-hmm. Isaiah
Pacheco,
Pacheco, yeah.
Pacheco, and Gibbs on the other side. Those guys, like, they had runs. They were pulling off, 4 yards, 6 yards, 8 yards. You know what I mean? But like both of them went away from the run. I felt like too much.
They did.
It was just, yeah. Again, it felt like Madden, right? Where like you pass on first down or you run on first down and either you don't get yards running or it's an incomplete pass, and so you almost feel like you have to pass on second and third down, and that's
Yeah,
just what it felt like both
exactly.
teams did. They just went away from the run, but the run was effective. I mean, Pacheco, his hands on the ball, like, that dude is shifty, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I think he's really really good. I drafted him. And same thing with Gibbs. I mean, that guy's quick. Like, he gives you a burst. But yeah, both coaches had, I guess, what would you call it? Like, they put their reputations on the line. No, that's not it. But essentially, you know, um,
I mean, I think I know what you're saying. Like Reed was saying, all right, I don't need to have all these weapons. I'm Reed and I am Mahomes. I can make this work.
yeah,
And at least for 1 week, it most certainly did not.
no,
And I mean, you're well, last Friday we predicted, no, this Tuesday we predicted Super Bowl participants and winners, and your NFC champions are
let's
1 and
go,
0
baby, let's
after a
go.
win on the road against the Super Bowl champions,
Why am I blanking on the head coach of the Lions' name?
Dan Campbell.
Thank you. Can't no, sorry. That's what you said is absolutely right. But I was thinking more of like, at the start of the game, Campbell showed he's like, you know what, I'm gonna show you how big my balls are, and going for that like, fourth down like inside of zone 20. And Reed, I mean, fourth and 25 from your own
Yeah,
30, and you had three timeouts. It's like you put them in range to force you to get a touchdown.
yeah.
That to me made absolutely no sense.
But I do like even with that, like that play almost happened for them to convert on that long fourth
Hmm.
down. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's that and Campbell and the Lions. You always wonder like, is it true that momentum can carry from one season to the next?
Hmm.
Because I mean, it's completely different people, everything. But at least for again 1 week, Detroit was able to carry what they ended last year on into this year. At least will be interesting moving forward.
Yeah. Although their offense will need to go and show a little more. It was
Mm-hmm.
relatively inept on both sides. I mean, the Chiefs, a lot of it was, just drops and whatnot. But both of them, I just think they need to stay committed to the run. Like, yeah, sure, passing is sexy and getting big chunk plays, that's sexy. But I don't know, there's still a, a lot of value in the run game, especially when it's working. I mean, the Lions, they have a really top five offensive line. Why
Oh, they
not
do.
utilize them?
And when they led them at times, I mean, at the end of the game, they did it knowing the Chiefs, knowing they were going to run it, and still
And
were
they
able to.
still got the first down, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So 100% and good for the Lions. Chiefs have extended break to figure out what they're going to do, and very important week 2 matchup for them when they go to face
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville week 2 in
Yeah.
Jacksonville.
Yep. And litmus test for the Jags too, right? Like you're going to
Hmm.
be getting a Chiefs team who, just got embarrassed, not embarrassed, but they beaten on a national stage. So they're gonna, if they weren't hungry before, they're gonna be hungry now.
Hmm.
So is Trevor Lawrence the golden boy? I still don't
Or
know if he is.
the prince, like Nick Wright calls him.
Yeah, yeah, Nick, how's your tattoo doing now, butthole? And honestly, if you think about, as I forget exactly what the tattoo says, but it's actually a very safe tattoo. That like, he can say it was for them because he was certain they were going to go 20 and 0. One, it
Hmm.
probably isn't even permanent, and two, or maybe it is. Regardless, it's a very not universal, but it can mean many things. So it's not like
Yeah,
he got the 20 and 0 tattooed on his chest.
yeah. He likes to get views, but he's not a moron.
Yeah, I mean, so that's just it. He's usually has really. I mean, you and I both appreciate a lot of his takes, but whenever it comes to the Chiefs and the Bills, he's too much of a homer, and it's annoying to watch.
He also knows that the Bills Mafia will interact with him and give him what he wants.
Yeah, this is
So,
true.
all right. So this is opening weekend of the NFL. We're gonna go through and break down, not like very in depth, but just give our thoughts on week one's full slate of games.
Hmm.
Starting with the 1 o'clock uh, kickoffs. We start off with Carolina at Atlanta. Divisional matchup in a division that could potentially be pretty wide open. Two young quarterbacks facing each other with Young and Ritter. It's at Atlanta. What do you see happen in that game?
Man, I honestly don't know, right? Just because Bryce Young, obviously a rookie quarterback that's looked pretty good. Ritter, a second-year guy, but essentially is a rookie. He doesn't have a ton of experience, but he has way more weapons. Is he as talented as Bryce? No. And so it's just sort of like you have a more talented guy, but with fewer weapons, and he's a rookie. And the other, yeah, my gut says Atlanta, just because I think Robinson's going to be good, Pitts is good, London is good, um, and Ritter is a second-year guy. Plus they've added a bunch of pieces to the defense, and they're at home. So I think Atlanta, but it's within a touchdown.
Yeah, it's be interesting. Carolina has I think, quietly built a fairly solid young roster.
Yeah, Mingo, Mims, what's his, not Akers? Is he their tailback?
They signed Miles Sanders. I don't.
Sanders.
Yeah,
That's what
from
it
the
was. Yeah,
Eagles.
Sanders.
Their defense has got some young, like players they drafted the last few years.
Is Brian Burns playing?
Yeah, he went back to practice this week.
Okay, yeah, because I like him and J.C. Horn.
Yeah, so solids there. Like it should be a decent game to watch. Like not one that you would.
Assuming, yes, assuming Bryce can play.
Yeah, and like you said, I want to see how Robinson does. Is he can be like everything they said he's gonna be? It's
I
not
bet
like
he,
Atlanta had a terrible running game
no,
last year.
but I think it's more on Ritter, right? Because Bryce
Hmm.
is a rookie and whatnot, but like Ritter, I mean, it's essentially you were handed the keys. You've been given athletes and playmakers. You have three legitimate playmakers at the tight end, receiver, and running back position.
Yep. So it's on him.
Yeah,
I mean, in a division that's pretty open. So who
I mean,
knows?
I do think the Saints are the best team in that division, but yeah, like Atlanta
I
could
do too.
prove us.
And like every year for I don't know, like I think a pretty like 5 6 years, like there's been a worst to first team in the NFL.
Hmm.
So like that to me is like one of those like divisions that could have that worst to first to keep the streak going.
Yep.
All right, the second matchup, another Division One. We talked about this on Tuesday, being pretty underrated game. I think is Cincinnati at Cleveland.
Hmm.
Uh, we don't want to say things are too important week one, but for Cleveland, I think there's a lot of pressure on Deshaun Watson to kind of start showing that what they gave up for him and what they're paying him is worth it. And I was talking to a Bengals fan today at work, and like nobody roots, like everybody roots against, I think, Deshaun Watson unless you're a Browns fan. he's I've never heard him really speak ill about anybody. He's like, I really don't want him to succeed at like in anything. I'm like, that's understandable.
Yeah.
So I mean, the pressure's really on him to, because nobody outside of the Cleveland fans really care for him. So can he start living up to it, or is Cleveland gonna really regret what they've done?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think regardless of the outcome, he has to play well.
Yep.
He has to play, especially because the Bengals defense is, they gave that they're not as good as they were last year, in my opinion. Um,
Yeah, they
so
lost
yeah,
both
no,
starting safeties.
yeah. So I mean, he's got to play well.
Yeah, and it's at Cleveland. So like talk about a statement game. Like if Cleveland can beat the like the favored Bengals in the division, that's a big win, divisional win.
Be great
Gives you
for
a leg
us,
up on everybody. Yeah, great for the Bills.
assuming we win.
But yeah,
Um,
Cleveland has got a really solid roster all around.
a good offensive line, good defense.
Yeah, I mean they added that Tomlinson. They added that pass rusher from uh, the Ravens. And Chubb still is a great running back.
Yeah, I like Nick Chubb.
So yeah, Cincinnati Cleveland underrated game. I mean everyone's talking about like the Pittsburgh 49ers and Bills, Jets, Dallas, New York, but that Cleveland Cincy one in the 1 o'clock window underrated.
Hmm.
But there's a lot of divisional matchups week one. The third one that we're going to talk about is Jacksonville, Indianapolis,
Well, hang on a second. Who do you got winning?
oh, Cincinnati.
Same.
Yeah, yeah. Watson didn't play for a year. He looked really bad last year. Like I've listened to a few shows on the radio who talked about like people who went to practice saying Watson didn't really inspire much confidence again. So until I see him start playing like he should, I can't pick Cleveland against like one of the better teams in the league.
And and honestly, I think that's part of the reason, or part of the reason why you shouldn't guarantee their entire. What what incentive does he have to play well? He's got 230 million reasons to just be like, whatever. I mean, the
Yeah,
league hates me, the fans hate me.
yeah, he's already paid,
Yeah,
and he thinks about quality of life moving forward. So
yeah.
so far we have two divisional matchups. Atlanta going. We kind of picked them and the Bengals. So one road, one home. Third divisional matchup we'll discuss is Jacksonville at Indy. Um, I don't think there's trap games in the NFL, but you know the Colts have like an unknown at quarterback. Like, what is Richardson going to do?
Mhm.
So I don't think they have any chance of winning. I think the Jaguars are going to destroy them. But it'll be interesting to watch them just to see what Richardson is doing each week. Is he progressing? Are they letting him kind of open things up? Are they kind of keeping the training wheels on him? Him alone makes them at least a highlight watch
Yeah.
after they play the game.
Yeah, no, and it's all that right there, right? The training wheels. You know what the training wheels should be? Jonathan Taylor,
Right,
right?
right.
Like, yeah, that's why that's made no sense to me. Like, why Irsay wouldn't say, "Oh, yeah, no, we're gonna pay him," because you need him, right? Like,
Hmm.
if Anthony Richardson doesn't end up playing well at all, you need somebody to carry the load. But no, I'm with you. I think this is a 10, 14 point win for the Jags. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is good. They just have a better roster. I mean, Colts sure have a couple pieces on defense, but without Jonathan Taylor and with
Hmm.
Richardson being an unknown at quarterback, I watched him play at Florida. I don't know how, especially as a rookie, like I think the best he can hope for is to play like Josh did, where he just gets better every week and you see flashes. And sure, you see him throw the ball a million yards, and he's a big, strong, bruising, I almost said back, um,
Yeah, he's
quarterback, but like, I don't know, I see a lot of Cam Newton in him, a not super
Mm.
accurate big dude who maybe eventually can go, take you somewhere. But yeah, this year, outside of a big play here or there with that big arm of his, yeah,
Yeah,
this is a win for Jacksonville.
yeah, for sure. I think yeah, Rob Haley on that one. Tampa Bay, Minnesota is next. Tampa Bay at Minnesota. Uh, kind of two teams kind of on the rebound. Tampa Bay trying to figure out like what do they have. They announced today they're not actively trying to sign Mike Evans to an extension. So it's like, are his days going to be numbered? Are they going to do any fire sale if they don't end up doing anything?
Hmm.
The Vikings, they didn't. Kirk Cousins kind of like you always hear lame duck coach. He's a lame duck quarterback now. He doesn't have anything past this year.
Hmm.
So just like kind of two teams that are kind of not certain what their future holds. Uh, but still, I think the Vikings have too much firepower for Tampa Bay, and I think the Vikings will win that one.
See, all right, we disagree. I think that this is the best roster that Baker Mayfield has probably ever had. Um, and Tampa still has a solid solid defense. And let's be real, like Minnesota, they don't have Cook, okay? They won a ton of close games. And so I'll just say this, I'm not sure who's going to win because Minnesota is at home, but I think it's going to be close. I think this is a field goal game. Screw it. Bucks win by 3.
Bucks win by three. All right, so that's our first disagreement. Tampa Bay for you, Minnesota for me. You have a lot of faith in Baker Mayfield. They do have a decent roster.
You have a lot of
I just,
faith in Kirk Cousins.
yeah, Kirk has been in the playoffs multiple times.
Yeah, he's an above average quarterback, but he is under. I mean, we watched so many of their games, right? I mean, like they had what, like a +2 or a negative point
Yeah.
differential. Like that's the same team, except for they don't have Adam Thielen. Um, isn't Patrick Peterson gone?
Mm-hmm.
And they got rid of one of their defensive linemen, I believe.
Yeah, Zadarius Smith went to the Browns.
Yeah, so like they're not better on defense, anyways. I mean, sure they got Jordan Addison on offense, but he's a rookie. You lost. You got rid of Cook. I don't know. I think at best they are the same team, but I think they're just a dash worse. Whereas Tampa, I think they're better just because, yeah, Baker is an upgrade over what they had.
Over late, like retirement season Tom
Well, no,
Brady.
sorry, I meant not not Tom, but like over Trask, and they had I think Blaine Gabbert on the roster.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, he's a better than them for sure.
So
So yeah, another game that again I'm not gonna like watch it intently, but
I'll have it
Tampa
on.
Bay is a team from here, so it's gonna be on the television.
Hmm.
So like I'll glance at it during Sunday afternoon. Titans at Saints is next. Interconference schedule. Uh, Tennessee coming off a pretty bad year for them. Ryan
Hmm.
Tannehill hurt to end the year. Like, what does he have left? Derrick Henry getting close to 30. What does he have left? Uh, Saints, their big move getting Carr to what you earlier said, like maybe the resumed favorites in the NFC South. Uh, Viewpoints on this one?
Saints by 10. Tannehill, he's been a solid starter through most of his career, but as you said, like they've just got so many aging pieces, and I think the Saints are going to be hungry. They're going to be motivated. Carr, especially, right? I really like Carr. I think he got a raw deal with the Raiders, and they're going to regret moving on from him. He's not a bad quarterback. He's. I know Kamara's suspended, but Michael Thomas, he should be available. Uh, Chris Olave. Um, they got what Williams from the Lions.
Yeah, I know
So
we love him.
Yeah, no, he's awesome. And the Saints defense is still really, really good. So I think the defense is going to give Tennessee fits, and I think that yeah, Saints by 10.
Yeah, I definitely could see that. And I don't have faith in Tannehill. D Hop is going to a franchise with wide receivers go to die. Michael
Yeah.
Thomas is. They need him to stay healthy.
Oh my gosh.
Like if he is healthy, then you pair him with Olave, with a quarterback who can actually get them the ball. That's pretty potent,
Jimmy Graham,
right? Yeah,
the
Jimmy Graham.
original
Yeah,
Jimmy G.
yeah. And he's not going to get have any legal action taken against him from what he did earlier with his driving. So yeah, I think it should be a Saints win. I think it should be pretty comfortable, like you said, not really anxiety inducing for Saints fans.
Hmm.
Uh, Next game is probably I think is arguably the best game of the weekend of Sunday is San Francisco at Pittsburgh.
Yep.
You know, two second year quarterbacks who most people love. Pickett seems ready to take that next big step and put himself in the upper echelon. From what I watched of him in the preseason, I did watch every game that Pittsburgh played just because I wanted to see what he did. He was very sharp. He has weapons all around him. Their defense is always like fear-inducing as long as the Watts stay healthy.
Hmm.
Then you have the Niners. Like Purdy seems like he's healthy. A roster built to win now. Bosa signed his contract, so he's gonna be there. Like to me, this is like the toughest game to pick of the weekend. Uh, I mean, you picked first last time, so if I had to say, I think the Steelers win. Just they're at home, and Pickett looks like he's gonna be hitting the ground running. I don't know, like if Bosa's he gonna be full go? Is Purdy ready to take it on? Is he fully back from his elbow?
Hmm.
So my pick is Pittsburgh.
Yep. No, I picked Pittsburgh too. It's the same thing as you in a close one, and I give them the edge because they're at home. The other thing, and people talk, or I've heard people talk about this, is the fact that you know, Brock Purdy, we have such a, small sample size, right? And it's just, there is something about having tape on guys,
Mm-hmm.
having, 7, 8, 9 games worth of tape where, okay, you can figure out what he doesn't do well and how to, you know, how to, how to get to him, how to ruffle his feathers, so to speak. Because, yeah, I mean, the Niners have a great defense, a great offense. Um, but no, I think them being at home, um, plus, Pittsburgh's defense and Pickett looked really good. He looked sharp. They have a couple of really good running backs, a couple of really good receivers. I like Farmuth. Yeah, I think they're solid on both sides of the ball. Um, but yeah, I think being at home gives Pittsburgh the edge. Plus, as you said, Bosa has not practiced in months. And sure, I'm sure he's in shape and all that stuff, but it's just
He's
different,
definitely
right?
different.
It's
Yeah.
just different. And so how
Yeah.
effective he's going to be, or maybe he's effective when he's out there, but he's probably not playing half of the snaps. He might, only play 30 or 40% of the snaps. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It should be one of the best games. That's one I'll definitely be watching on the big screen. Um, but that leads us into one of the least, at least in my opinion, interesting games of the
yuck.
weekend is Arizona at Washington. I'll let you take it. Well, thoughts about this one?
I mean, so like I'm looking like so. I guess we both have the schedule up and it has like ticket prices for some of these games, and it is just comical to look and see, you know, just how low some of these matchups are. But
Mm,
yeah, like Washington, I mean, their defense is just better, right? Their defensive line is really solid.
mm,
They have Jamin, whatever the heck his name is, Davis from Kentucky. Yeah, he's in
yep.
his second year. I mean, yeah. So their defense, I think, is just hands down better. And depending on what Howell does, um, I mean, shoot, even if he sucks, I think their offense is going to be. I think on both sides of the ball, Washington is better. They're at home. Arizona, it seems like they're almost
Yeah.
actively trying to lose. So now this is going to be not a fun game. Um, maybe it could surprise us and be competitive, but I think if it's competitive, it's in a bad way where you just have bad
Yeah,
offenses playing.
it's ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But no, I have Washington um, by a touchdown, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's worse.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, overall, Washington has a pretty good roster.
Outside
You know,
of the quarterback position,
yeah,
sure.
like a big question mark there. So yeah, pretty easily they won't waste any more time on it. Washington
I mean,
for
shoot,
sure.
talk about a landing spot for Kyler Murray, right?
Yeah, they're to Washington for
Yeah.
sure. And Kingsbury back there. Next one is Houston at Baltimore. Uh, I don't think it's going to be as bad as people think. I think Houston is like they were competitive last year in games. Like their defense held their own.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but the real question is going to be just like C.J. Stroud.
Yeah.
Can he break the Ohio State quarterback curse? I don't think so.
Nope.
I don't think he faced enough adversity in college to do what he's going to need to do there, especially like against a Baltimore team that has just seems like they've really beefed everything up to make a run this year.
Yeah.
So,
I feel bad for him in a way like this is his first game, and Baltimore spent a lot of money on the defense.
mm-hmm.
Um, but no, I'm with you. I think it'll be more competitive than what people think, just because I don't know if OBJ's playing or not. Last time I saw, he was hurt.
Yeah, that's well.
Which I mean,
He's
come
nicked
on,
up a
man.
lot.
Surprise, surprise. Actually, I want to click right now and see if he's Odell Beckham on return. Like it's my first game. Yeah, that doesn't tell me anything.
I got the injury report for the Ravens.
Yeah, he's not on it.
Yeah, he got taken off. He was with an ankle injury. He had a limited practice on Thursday, but then full practice.
Yeah, Jimmy Ward and John Mechie are out for Houston.
That stinks for John Mechie. Hope coming back from
Cancer. Yeah.
his cancer.
But yeah, no, I mean, Baltimore wins. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a little bit more competitive, right? I don't think Baltimore's going to win by 21, 28 points.
Yeah, and I think the other big storyline here is the Ravens replaced their offensive coordinator because they wanted to make it more of a 2023 style of offensive. Like, all right, let's make Lamar a better passer, give him better options.
Hmm.
But in the heat of battle, does Lamar do that, or does he just do what he's always done? And like, all right, I'm gonna read, and then if it's not there, I'm just gonna take off running. So that to me is like a secondary storyline that bears watching. Is are we gonna see an evolving of the Baltimore offense, or is it gonna be much of the same?
Yeah, who's the guy that they drafted? Um,
Flowers.
Flowers. Say Flowers. Yep.
Yeah, they have Flowers. They have OBJ. Bateman has
Bateman,
not done anything.
Andrews.
Yeah. Mark Andrews is still their best weapon outside of Lamar.
But let's be honest. I mean, it's probably the best, skill position. They have J.K. Dobbins and I forget the name of their backup running back.
Gus Edwards.
Yes, Gus Edwards. I like him a lot.
Yeah, and Monken, like if you go back and look at his history, like he likes his tight ends. So that's like, is it going to be that much
Hmm.
different? Because that's kind of like what like Roman did with them. Is like, all right, we're going to run and we're going to feature our tight end. So that it'll be interesting to watch that. But we have Baltimore first both. Into the 4 o'clock window, 4:25. Green Bay at Chicago. Thoughts there?
Packers win. I don't know. I did not like what I saw Justin Fields. I mean, sure he had a good game against whoever they played in the preseason, but those were I think he had like 13 air yards,
Mm-hmm.
but they ended up going for like 130 yards and two tutties.
That's
Like
not going to
that
happen.
was all the skill players, and then against us he looked like garbage. So no, I mean Christian Watson not playing obviously sucks for the Packers, but I don't know. I have zero confidence in the Bears. I have even less confidence in Justin Fields, and I think unfortunately, the Packers are going to, not that Love is going to be Aaron Rodgers right away, but that dude has sat behind Aaron Rodgers for 4 years.
Hmm.
Okay, I don't know. I think he's motivated to show them, you know what, like you didn't give me my fifth year option. You moved on from Aaron. I'm going to show you.
And you would hope that they were smart enough, like if he wasn't good, do what the Cardinals did when they got rid of Rosen after 1 year, drafting him in the first round.
hmm
Like they've had him on the team for 3 years. It's the same coach LaFleur's had him the whole time.
Yeah,
So you would hope, like, if he's not showing in practice, that it'd be like, all right, we're not going to just throw him out there just because we drafted him. So, like,
and he looked good in relief against the Eagles, right? Like,
he did. Yeah, he showed better than he did the previous time he went in for Rodgers.
yeah,
And to me, we talked about this last year. The Packers should be a run first team with what they
hmm
have. They have
yeah,
a really good running back tandem, a good offensive line, and nothing helps a young quarterback than a running game. And Fields is terrible.
yeah.
You know,
He
like
sucks.
he can run with the best of them, sure, but he's a quarterback, and DJ Moore is not going to only last so long with before he just loses on them.
hmm
So yeah, we're both in agreement there. Packers, they continue their dominance of the Bears. Another divisional matchup in the 4 o'clock, 4:25 window: Las Vegas at Denver. Uh, Everyone's just assuming Sean Payton is going to be this magic elixir that fixes everything that was wrong with Russell Wilson last year.
hmm
I don't think it's as simple as that.
Not me either.
Like Russell didn't show it like anything of what he used to do. He seemed very timid. He didn't have the mobility that he used to have to be able to create any magic. Uh, I don't like. They have receivers that you know their name, but are they that great?
Yeah.
You know, so I think Denver just getting a lot of love because people assume Peyton's going to go in and it's just going to magically work.
hmm
I mean, Denver's saving grace to me this week is that they're playing a not very good Raiders team, and most of that, like I don't like McDaniels is a terrible head coach. I think they're two pretty evenly matched teams, and I will give the advantage to the better coach and the home team, which are both Denver. So I
Yeah.
picked Denver in what I don't think will be a very entertaining game.
See, to me, this is at minimum the second worst, if not tied for the worst game of the weekend. Like the Raiders, I'm with you. McDaniels, he sucks. I think the Raiders have the better roster, but they have the worst coach.
Yeah,
Broncos have a better coach, but their roster isn't as good, especially when they got rid of Chubb and Judy's hurt. Um,
and they lost that Tim Patrick again in the slot for the
yeah,
second year in a row.
yeah. So no, I'm with you. I think sort of, I think the Broncos and Browns are in the same sort of position. Like, please, quarterback, don't suck, so our trade doesn't look awful. But no, I think this is going to be an ugly, 21-24, 7, 21-17 game. Going to be turnovers, bad quarterback play,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not. This will be a game that I definitely don't watch. But that being said, I'm with you, and I picked them. Sure, yes, they have the better head coach, but man, that from a physiological standpoint, being in Denver, that altitude, it's real. Um, and so I think that, and you know, being at home, that stadium is really loud. I think they have the better quarter. Even though he's not been playing well, I think they have the better quarterback.
Yeah,
So yeah, Denver wins an ugly one.
and then ugly for sure. Again, and that leads us to another game I think is underrated: Philadelphia at New England.
hmm
Obviously, everyone knows who the Eagles are, one of the top teams in the league, one of the top teams in the NFC. This to me is more interesting with New England. Like everyone is down on Mac Jones from last year. Uh, I think he's going to take a big step forward back to what they thought he would be with an actual offensive coordinator with in Bill O'Brien. And that defense, like last year, was top notch. Like they scored so many touchdowns last year, and you can't rely on that. But they're also like it's one of the best defensive minds ever. They went and got a couple cornerbacks to help them. So like I don't think this is going to be as easy as people think with Philadelphia going into New England. But I don't think New England will win Philly for me.
You know what? You and I are of the same. I guess the only thing that we differ on so far is the Tampa Bay game. Because yeah, no, for all everything you just said, I completely agree. Like the Pats, regardless of who's at quarterback, they always play teams tough. The only time they get blown out is when they play us. Um, but yeah, no, like I think people were too quick to move on from Mac Jones and crown Bailey Zappi. Well, where's he at right now? Yeah, I think
Bailey
yeah,
Cuddy.
Jones is a much better quarterback than he's given credit for. You know, he's seen as the third best quarterback in that 2021 draft, with Lawrence and Fields being one and two. But no, I think he is definitely better than Fields. He's not on the level of Trevor Lawrence yet, but no, I think between the Pats defense being solid and Jones giving them enough um, firepower, right? Because you know, they have what Devontae Parker, Jacoby Meyer, and Juju.
Myers went to Raiders,
Ah,
but
okay.
I think Juju's a better version of him, so
Yes,
they improved
they
a
have
bit.
him, Parker, and
Ramondre
then
Stevenson, one of the best
Thornton.
running backs.
Thornton
Yeah,
from Baylor.
remember, and they
Um,
signed Mike Gesicki from the Dolphins.
yeah. So no, I'm with you. I think Philly wins, but it's not a this game is over in the first half. Like it'll be decided in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I think New England will show people like, hey, you're gonna have to deal with us every game.
Yep.
And then again, and then the next game is one of the two I was considering what I thought would be the best of the weekend. I'll let you take the lead on what you think of it. Miami at the Chargers.
Well, first thing I'll say is I'm surprised that the tickets are so cheap.
Yeah,
It's
$52.
yeah, I know, right? Like I mean, I know that LA fans are pretty fair weather. Um, yeah, suck it. It's true. But that being said, this to me is one of the harder ones to pick. I'm going with the Dolphins just because I think I mean, I'll take Waddle, Hill, and whatever speedster they have in the backfield um, over, not. I think their offenses are pretty well matched.
Yeah.
But just Hill and Waddle, they have so much speed everywhere. And then you look at the Chargers, and I think that the Dolphins, even without Jalen Ramsey, have a better defense. So
Mm-hmm.
although LA's at home, their fans don't travel well, and so a home game isn't really a home game. So I have Miami winning in a close one, but those teams are pretty evenly matched. But because of the defense, I'll give Miami the edge.
We're in agreement there. Pretty evenly matched. And like if Tua was stayed healthy last year, he was on a MVP type pace.
Yeah, yeah,
Like he runs that offense like perfectly.
and he's motivated. That is a
Oh yeah.
motivated guy.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to shut
Like
everybody up.
yeah, because everyone's always like, oh, like talk about his concussions, like he's some frail made of glass guy. So yeah, he's 100% motivated. Uh, we talked about earlier about McDaniel's. I think Staley is not a very good situational coach at all,
Mm-mm.
and he's cost his team the last 2 years.
Yep.
So Dolphins start the year off with a win. Both of us think that. We got 3 games left on the docket. The Rams at Seattle. I'm not going to spend much time on this. The Rams are a dumpster fire. You just mentioned earlier about possibly being put on IR.
Mm-hmm.
Who does Stafford have to throw to? They got rid of Ramsey. Bobby Wagner's gone. Leonard Floyd is gone. So Stafford and Darnold, sure they're good, and Darnold is great, but like they can't win a game by themselves.
Nope.
So I think Seattle wins this one, and Los Angeles is showing they'll be in the battle with the Cardinals for that #1 pick.
Agreed.
Might move on for that then. Simple enough. The two primetime games to close out Week 1: Dallas at New York. New York's getting a lot of love for what they did last year. Great for Dayball, great for what the Giants did. Um, I don't completely believe in Daniel Jones. Like the dude, like, can he throw for like more than 20 touchdowns before we like hand him a 170 million deal?
Oh, I know, right? It's so much money.
Yeah, so like, I think this year will be a year like he falls back down to earth of like he's gonna turn the ball over.
Yep.
Dallas has a great roster. I think Dak holds them back, but that's a story for another day. In the first game, he will not hold them back. I think they added a good second receiver, like an underrated one, to Lamb, and when they got Cooks,
Mm-hmm.
somebody like that can actually take some attention away from him. Yeah, they lost Zeke, but Zeke is a shell of what he used to be. They got Gilmore to go along with uh, Diggs. So I think Dallas wins a road game, a big road game on the road against a division opponent. Of course, it's a joke when they said that, but against a division opponent, I think Dallas wins.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, yeah, I mean, being in the Dallas area, we hear a lot of cowboy talk, but no, I'm with you. Dak holds them back, and otherwise, a team that has at least the potential to make it to a Super Bowl. Now, if Dak
Mm-hmm.
goes and plays well, if he plays like he did before he hurt his ankle, then yeah, I think the Cowboys are going to make a lot of noise and will push Philly um, for that division. But I agree with you 100%. I think it was a mistake giving Daniel Jones all that money. I know they didn't really have anybody else, but he has not shown anything. He just looks like a poor man's Eli Manning. Um, and yeah, no, I think Dallas wins by 7.
Well, that leads us to the Monday night game, our game that we're most looking forward to. Uh,
Kinda.
Lead us off your Buffalo at the Jets Monday Night
My
Football.
Buffalo. Yeah, no, right? Like, where's your Bill shirt at? I see you wearing a shirt to rep me, Doctor.
Doctor Strange. Yep,
um,
accurate.
so man, this is a game that I find it incredibly hard to pick, right? If I'm trying to like put my heart aside, because I always believe that Josh can do it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at the rosters, dang, it's like such a tightly matched thing. Like the Jets have a better defense. I still like our quarterback and receiver combo better. Um, this, yeah, Aaron's great and all, right? But like at some point he's going to show his age. At some point he's going to get clobbered, and it's going to be like, dang, that hurts more than it usually does. Um, but no, I mean, as much as I hate to say it, I got the Jets winning by 3. I think we start the year off um, with an L, and
Yeah, I don't think that'd be the worst thing, depending on how they lose. Because I also, like, if I had to put money on it, I would pick the Jets because I think it's a bigger game for them. Like, the pressure is on them in a way that Buffalo had last year.
mm-hmm,
Everyone's already kind of writing Buffalo off as like they're the third or fourth best team in the conference. People crazily put the Jaguars above them. Rodgers has a lot to prove. He had his worst season last year, and everyone's saying, "Oh, he looks different in Hard Knocks." Well, if you watch Hard Knocks, he had a lot of Jim from The Office ones where you could see him glancing at the camera. Like he knew it was there. He's not a dumb man. He's like, I'm gonna put my best foot forward. And there was a few times where he saw like the Aaron coming out where he was just losing his cool. So outside of Garrett Wilson, are his weapons really that great? You're trusting like an aging Randall Cobb and Alan Lazard? I don't
it's
think
the
so.
run game, right? I mean, Brees Hall and Dalvin Cook, like that is
Yeah,
a
that worries me.
formidable 1-2 punch. The only equalizer is the fact that their line is not very good, and so which is why I wish we had Vaughn playing. But I think if we can get to Aaron and hit him a couple of times, then all right. Um, but yeah, that Jets defense and freaking what's Quinnen Williams in the middle. Dang,
Oh yeah,
I'm worried.
easy.
He is going to wreck things. We're gonna have to run away from him.
Yep. Yeah, the Jets defense last year, like, yeah, we struggled against the Jets defense.
And Sauce sucks, but he's really good.
Yeah. So the hope for me is I think we improved our offensive weaponry pretty significantly over last year.
hmm
Cook is like more of an every down role is an improvement over Singletary. Kincaid offers a piece that we didn't have last year. Hardy is an upgrade over McKenzie, and Sherfield I think is going to be an X factor all year. So the hope is okay. Sauce is going to take Steph away, but I think we have enough weapons. Like we're going to be able to find answers. I think we lose like with the Jets with a field goal at the end, kind of like Josh puts us ahead, then we lose, and I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, because the defense is a liability.
Yes, yeah, we're starting Bernard at middle linebacker after Edmonds. That's worrisome. Benford is a good story, but like, is he going to be the answer at number two? But yeah, if I had to put money on it, Jets as well. Jets for me.
The only thing is how do we perform out of 12 personnel? Because that to me
Mm-hmm.
is the equalizer. Because Kincaid is sort of a slot receiver who can kind of block, right? And so if on any given down, right, you have Cook in the backfield, Knox, Kincaid, Gabe, and Diggs, right? Who stays in the block? Who run? So
Yeah, it's a lot there. And right now, the Jets don't know what we're going to do. You mentioned earlier about like getting film on Purdy. Like they didn't show much of Kincaid in this offense during the preseason.
hmm
So I think that's a big advantage to us, at least in terms of like they don't know what we're going to do because they don't have anything to look at.
right.
And we didn't really use 12 personnel much last year, so it's not like they can go back and look at much tape of what we used in the past. There's for week one, there's a pretty good amount of interesting games.
hmm
One disagreement between us. We'll see what happens in that
I know,
Buccaneers
right?
Vikings game.
Who's gonna? We should start doing a little tracker, like a week by week record.
We should like a pigskin prognostication award. So that's our football talk for the day. Um, Starfield came out this week for our video game fans. If you're with us 52 minutes in on YouTube later, because nobody's watching right now other than us. Um, I have not yet played Starfield. I will start tomorrow. I got to go buy an Xbox controller for my PC. But you have played it, so what are your initial thoughts on Starfield?
I like it. I mean, I don't know. Some people said it was started slow or whatever, and maybe it has. I've only played like 2 or 3 hours, but it's good. Looks good. I mean, I have no qualms with it. It's sort of like in typical Fallout Skyrim type fashion. I started the game just picking up everything. Um, I quickly realized, I don't need that bread knife, and I don't need that plate, and I don't need that because somebody else said something about like you don't have enough inventory or whatever. You start being able to hold 150, 160 kilos plus your robot holds like a whole bunch. Like I find that
Right
not
on.
an issue at all. There's stuff with the ships that they haven't really talked about yet. Um, but overall, no. I mean, I like it. I think it's fun.
I'm looking forward to that. We'll have a more in-depth review later as we both play and move forward on that.
hmm
But just wanted to get your initial thoughts from that because I know it's a
Yeah, no. I mean,
game.
if someone's
Go
on the
ahead.
fence about trying it, I mean, shoot, especially for like with the Xbox Game Pass, it's $10 a month. So you know what? Get it for a month, play the game, and then you purchased Starfield for to $10.
Yep.
It's like it's I think anyways a low risk, you know, low floor, high ceiling,
Yeah.
or
Agreed.
high floor, high ceiling. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
low
Yep.
risk.
That's our 138 brain working there. I'm with you. I said about going on the road or whatever. I even forgot what I said. That was stupid. Okay. Um, closing the
Cowboys
show
playing on the
tomorrow.
road at the road.
Yeah, that's what it was. Not tomorrow. Later on today, Um, you're going to be doing your second break. We did do our, sorry, your second break. We did our overall second break last weekend.
Hmm.
Success. So, what do you got for the people tomorrow?
So I'm not gonna grab them because I have them organized all nice and neat, and I don't want to like mess up the, how I've got it. But and maybe I'll get your thoughts on it right now. So I have the two Score blasters, but they're 2018. I'm just trying to figure out like what's the order because it's Score for sure, but it's 2018. Got Saquon, you got Josh, you got Lamar, um, and
I'm
so
gonna
it's just
pull it up actually so I can see. It's on our TikTok shop, so I'm gonna pull that up so I can see the
yeah.
actual break.
So there's those two. There's two 2023 select draft picks megas. I mean, frankly, those are just ones that I can easily grab from the store at retail. Just ways to try to keep the cost down. And then two H2 hobby boxes. Or not two, sorry, three. So we have the 2021 and 2022 the Donruss H2 hobby boxes, so not the optics, and then one 2022 H2 hobby of Prestige. So although
Interesting. I
that
would
being
go
said,
for the select draft picks first, to be honest.
yeah, that's what I was thinking, because the Donruss ones, even though they're at optics, they still have the downtowns in them.
You got a chance at them. Yes,
Hmm.
I would definitely go select blasters and I don't think in any particular order of your H2s. Maybe the one with Herbert on the front last.
That's the 21. Yeah, actually, that's what sort of I was thinking. Go. They have the selects, the scores, the prestige, and then the one with Josh, and then the one with Herbert.
Yep,
That's a
seems
lot of
like a good
cards
order to
too.
me.
Each one of those H2s have like 110 to 130 cards, and the
Wow,
scores have a lot. Yeah, no, that's. I
you're
think there's
really
gonna be like
doing a lot of
500 cards.
organization. Yeah, so if
um,
anybody does watch this on our YouTube later on and they got to this point, some breakers, which I don't agree with, on breaks like this would do like, all right, you're getting bulk base, where they don't even separate it by team. No, no, you pay for a team, you're getting what you paid for from the team. You know, so
yeah,
yeah,
no,
we
it
we
takes
we
more
take the
time,
extra time to do it.
but it's yeah. I mean, if you paid for the Bills, you're going to
Yeah.
get every Bills card, whether it's a Tyrod Taylor or a Josh Allen
Hmm.
or a
Yeah, those 2018s will have some interesting stuff in it.
right? Because I mean, we pulled some of those scores. They had numbered cards, they had autos in the
Yeah.
blasters.
Well, I just mean it'll be fun to see like people you maybe forgot about
All right,
because
yeah.
in the NFL world that's a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. Five
So
years.
just being able to like, yeah, we want to get the Josh rookie, that'd be sweet. But just looking at the cards, like that's part of like I love that part of the hobby is just looking at them.
Yep.
So like seeing those players, oh man, I forgot about him, or I didn't know he went to that team, something like that. So it'll be fun to watch. We are breaking tomorrow, probably afternoon time for anybody who wants to join in. It is up for pre-sale on our TikTok shop, along with other personal things that you can buy, and Corey will break for you on his break.
Yep. Got some blasters and yeah,
And we
no.
will, moving forward, like I'm going to try to purchase and match what's in the shop so we can have the same inventory for anybody interested in buying personals.
Yep.
So
I'll
at
say this
nearly 2
too.
a.m.
Hang
Oh,
on a
go
second.
ahead.
I'll just the fact that our personals, like I sort of looked at what other people sell these things for, and they usually charge like $5 to $10 more. So again, get the great value over here.
That's what we do. Yeah. So Walmart, uh, we're going for that patent.
Boom, baby.
No, but at near 2 a.m., that's a wrap on our show for tonight. Almost at an hour in. If you watched the stream earlier, thank you. I honestly didn't pay attention if I had any viewers during that.
Pippy
Uh,
puppy.
but
That's who I had.
we appreciate you stopping by. Catch us on YouTube. Make sure to check out our TikTok shop, SNS Card 607, our eBay store, SNS Card 607, our Instagram, SNS Card 607. One click. And our email is snscards 1912 at gmail.com.
Well, we're really curveball in there.
Yeah, I created that first and then realized, oh, 607 would be neat for our area code growing up. But for Corey Dungan, I
Guess
am
there's only
Lawrence
one
Foster.
doctor.
Yeah, one doctor. Not based on the shirt. We appreciate everybody stopping by. I hope you have a great night and
Hmm.
football weekend, and we will see you at our break tomorrow.
Yeah.
Go Bills.
Go Bills. Roll Tide. Texas sucks. Horns down, baby. All right. Later.